Good evening, I'm Christian Esguerra, and welcome to this episode of After the Fact, where we get to see things more clearly, where we get a better sense of the truth. Let's begin by dissecting the news. It took a while at least to confirm, but here it is. The alliance between former Senator Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. and Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte in next year's presidential and vice presidential elections. Now, how solid and formidable this tandem is still remains to be seen. Mayor Duterte herself admitted that a faction of the ruling PDP Laban party rejected her alliance with the son of the late dictator. This faction, of course, initially fielded Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa for president at the last minute. Later, Senator Christopher Bongo took de la Rosa's spot under a different party. Last night, President Duterte met with a group of congressmen supposedly to seek their support for Go's presidential bid and his daughter Sara's candidacy for vice president, which essentially would leave out Marcos Jr. Tonight, we'll talk about these interesting developments within the ruling party and the First Family as they seek to retain power in the 2022 elections. Now, be part of our discussion. Send us your questions and comments on our YouTube live chat or tweet us using the hashtag ANCAfterTheFact. Joining us tonight is Attorney George Briones. He's the General Counsel of the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas, the party that fielded former Senator Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. for president in the 2022 elections. Good evening, sir, and thank you for joining us on the program.
Good evening, Christian. It is my honor to be in your prestigious program tonight.
Thank you very much, sir. Let's start with this tandem between Bongbong Marcos and Sara Duterte. Even before the deadline of the substitution for candidates last November 15, people had been talking about this tandem. But why did it take a while before this tandem was made official and confirmed?
Well, only because the PFP, I am talking about the PFP standard bearer speaks out his mind. And then, the Lakas standard bearer speaks out her mind. And these two political leaders are known for saying what they mean. So you must understand, Christian, that there are two political parties here, the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas and the Lakas CMD.
Yeah. Was there really a danger on the part of Bongbong Marcos and your party that you would not get Sara Duterte on board as his running mate and that she might end up running under a different slate?
Yes, because we are only Partido Federal ng Pilipinas, Christian. We have no control over other political parties. If they make their decisions as to what they will do in the forthcoming elections, that is their only decision. That is their sole decision. The Partido Federal ng Pilipinas has nothing to do with it.
Okay, but when Sara Duterte filed her COC for vice president, did she also confirm with Bongbong Marcos that she would run for vice president with him as a presidential candidate?
When she filed her candidacy for vice president, she filed it under the Lakas CMD. So if there is anybody who would know her intentions, it is the Lakas CMD.
Yeah, I understand that. Pero nag-usap ba kayo, your party and Sara Duterte or Bongbong Marcos and Sara Duterte, that kahit hindi pa i-announce officially, when she filed her COC for vice president, ang presidente niya si Bongbong Marcos?
As to me, I have not talked to her. As to the party, it is our chairman who we gave a blanket authority to negotiate who his vice president will be.
Was there also any serious conversation of your standard bearer rethinking or reconsidering his presidential run and slide down to vice president in favor of Sara Duterte?
No, there is never a doubt to that, because when we were in Batangas, and 1 million people trooped out to the streets to greet Senator Ferdinand Marcos. He said, hindi ako aatras, hindi ako magpapalit ng partido.
But all along, when you fielded the former Senator Bongbong Marcos for president as your standard bearer, did you already have in mind Sara Duterte as a vice presidential candidate?
Well, Senator Marcos, after he filed his certificate of candidacy on October 6, told the press that he was intending to get PRRD as his vice president, but he withdrew from the race.
So how big an impact was that? The fact that President Duterte didn't go for the vice presidency?
Well, that is a very big impact because the father and the daughter will not be fighting each other. That has a very big impact in these elections.
How would you respond to those who are saying that Sara Duterte basically settled for the vice presidency, that given the numbers, the survey numbers before, she should have been the one running for president?
Well, in the first place, you should ask Mayor Sara Duterte that question. And, those questions are just speculative.
No, I'm asking for your opinion because I know that this also has an impact because you're the one that fielded Bongbong Marcos. There are those who are saying, why did she settle for the vice presidency under Bongbong Marcos?
Well, as I said, among all the individual politicians in our country, can you question a decision made by Mayor Inday Sara Duterte? She has a mind of her own. Even her father does not know or could not control her.
Okay. Again, my question is your opinion, how you're seeing that because you're the one that fielded Bongbong Marcos for president. Don't you think it has any reflection on your own candidate? The fact that her supporters are raising this issue?
No, the truth of the matter is that we are elated because she just said today that she is accepting the chairmanship of Lakas CMD and she is looking forward to a campaign where there is a united BBM Sara tandem. So we in the PFP are very much elated by her statement.
How formidable is this tandem?
Very much.
How so? Can you elaborate on that?
Well, it is already talked about, Christian. I took up political science in the University of the Philippines. But maybe you must ask that question to the other political scientists who frequent your show. Because I am just a humble lawyer. I just tell you the facts and then I just tell you the law. I am not more on the speculation aspect of this campaign.
Don't you see the numbers? For instance, as a member of the party that fielded Bongbong Marcos, I suppose you have access to those analyses and data and figures.
It is a big plus. Definitely, it is a big plus because if you remember, when Senator Ferdinand Marcos ran for vice president, he lost the game in Mindanao. Now, with Sara Duterte as his vice president, our campaign is very much strengthened.
So basically, the conventional perspective that Bongbong Marcos has the strength of the North and Sara Duterte could deliver in the South. Is that what you're referring to?
Not only that, Christian. Bongbong Marcos is very strong in NCR.
Okay.
He is very strong in Calabarzon and basically in every part of the country. Did you see all of this motorcade, Christian, in the past several days? The Partido Federal ng Pilipinas has nothing to do with it. It is a voluntary expression of the will of the people. They pay for their gasoline. They pay for their red shirt. and they have this Philippine flag in their shirts, in their caps. Maybe you should ask the political scientists who guest on your show.
But you are my guest. But you are my guest tonight, sir. So unfortunately, you would have to be answering those questions. I hope you understand that.
I will.
Okay.
I will try. I will try.
Okay. But how solid do you think is the support base of Bongbong Marcos?
I think it is overwhelming, Christian. I don't know why, but it is overwhelming. You know, when we went to Batangas last Friday, there was 1 million Batangueños who went out of their homes, who lined the highway from Lipa up to Taal. Eh ngayon lang ako nakakita ng ganyan sa medyo senior na ako, Christian
You consider that as organic support?
I do not understand what is organic.
Organic basically walang pilitan, spontaneous.
Yes, definitely, because those people are not even members of the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas. Of course, we organize and we have leaders, but it was like yung bang Christian, yung bang December 31, New Year's Day. Everybody went out of their houses and everybody were saying ganun, no?
Okay. So you're talking about the solid support base of your candidate, your standard bearer, Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. But on the other hand, President Duterte is not exactly endorsing Bongbong Marcos for president. He's pushing for Christopher Bongo for president, and of course, his own daughter Sara Duterte for vice president, who is also your vice presidential candidate. Now, we know that President Duterte also has a solid support base. How do you think this could affect your candidate's chances in the 2022 elections?
Well, in the first place, that is the right and privilege of the president. If you will watch our campaign of the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas, especially under the leadership of Senator Ferdinand Marcos Jr., we just do what we have to do. We do not react. We just do what we have to do. And that is why we are now, Christian, 47%
in the last SWS survey.
SWS survey. Because, if we watch the other side, if we watch the left, if we watch the right, we cannot move on, Christian. That is not how we do it in the PFP.
Yeah, understood. Other candidates are also using that perspective in terms of dealing with their opponents. But my other question is, you think Bongbong Marcos' support base can withstand a challenge from President Duterte's own support base, since the president himself is supporting a different presidential candidate?
I think this is already destiny, Christian. I do not know. Maybe you should try to observe the people, watch them, interview them. Why are they for Bongbong Marcos? I went to Forbes Park the other day for a meeting, and I had a merienda because I was early in front of the Santuario, the church there. I had empanada and calamansi. And then the sales girl told me, "Sir, bongbong ka pala." Because I had a hat with BBM. Oo, kako. Kumusta rito? Lahat sir ng bilyonaryo dito kay Lenny. Bakit kako kay Lenny sila? Siguro sir, gusto pa nila yumaman. Ikaw, akong ganyan. Kay Bongbong ho ako akong ganyan. Kako, tayo mga mahihirap talagang kay Bongbong tayo. Yung magulang mo.
You consider yourself as poor? You consider yourself as poor?
Yes, I studied in the University of the Philippines. Yung anak ko, Christian, yung tatay mayaman kasi Ateneo yun Pero ako, yung parents ko, Christian, mahirap kasi Cabanatuan East Central School ako
Okay.
Let me ask High School, UP.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask this question, which is often thrown at your candidate, your standard bearer, Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. How would you respond to this question, if posed on the campaign trail, bakit namin iboboto si Bongbong Marcos? Ito yung tinatanong ng iba, di ba? Bakit namin iboboto si Bongbong Marcos gayong may napatunayang ill-gotten wealth yung pamilya niya?
Eh, yung tanong mo yan, Christian, hindi naman namin sinasakyan yan dahil galing naman yan sa Dilawan. You just wait for the debates and Senator Marcos will very easily handle that question.
Why not answer it now?
I'm not his spokesman. Maybe
But you are the
should
general
ask
counsel of the party.
No, you ask Attorney Vic Rodriguez. He is the spokesman. I am the general counsel.
Yun
Kasi
nga lang, sir.
Alam mo yan, Christian, yung mga tanong na yan, it's a useless debate. Gawa nung, alam mo, these people, they have not met Senator Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos.
But
And
we're
then
talking
they accuse him of so many crimes. Pag Christian, have you met him?
Yes, I covered him when he was a senator.
Oh, what do you think of him?
My opinion of him is not relevant to this conversation. Ang tanong ko rito, attorney, why not answer these questions? For instance, may mga Supreme Court decisions when it comes to the ill-gotten wealth of the Marcoses. Imelda Marcos was convicted in 2018. Why are you saying that these things are not relevant?
Because it is black propaganda. In fact, I watched you when you interviewed Justice Antonio Carpio and you made your opening statement. And you said that Senator Marcos was convicted of tax evasion. That is false. That is news, Christian. Where did you get that? Where did you get that?
Okay, basahin natin this positive portion ng Court of Appeals decision. And actually, this is the argument also of Justice Carpio. The fact na pinapabalik sa kanya yung hindi nabayaran na income tax during those period, 1982 to 1985. So that, according to him, basically was tax evasion.
And that is his conclusion, and you believe him?
That is the conclusion of a former senior associate justice of the Supreme Court.
Let me explain to you, Justice Carpio. You know, Christian, Justice Carpio is wearing 3 hats in this campaign. The first hat he is wearing before your TV program is the hat of a former justice of the Supreme Court. But he is wearing 2 other hats. Ano po yon? He is a partisan, political activist. He is the head of the One Sambayan at the same time. That is his second hat. What is his third hat? Ito po yung third hat ni Justice Antonio Carpio. He is lawyering for Leni Robredo, his candidate. Where? In his column in the Philippine Daily Inquirer.
Yeah, you read those columns, right? I think.
Yeah. He even said in his first column that Senator Marcos cannot be disqualified. Did you read that column?
Yeah, I read that. Okay.
Oh, yes.
You're also a lawyer,
we
but
are
why
in
don't
agreement.
No, but why don't you answer the points you raise squarely?
Yeah, I will answer it one by one.
Example, so this positive portion of CA decision, ang sinasabi ni Justice Carpiron, there was mention of Marcos asked to pay deficiency income tax due with interest apart from the fine. Sabi niya, since Marcos Jr. was ordered to pay deficiency income tax due, there was tax evasion which inherently involves moral turpitude.
O, sasagutin kita.
Yeah,
Ikaw
I'm
ba,
giving you
Christian,
the floor now.
Yeah. Let me ask you, do you have income from your salary?
Just answer the question, please.
Because I want to demonstrate to the people how ridiculous this story of Justice Carpio is.
Go ahead.
Like you, for example, if you are salaried under ANC, because you don't want to answer my question, ANC withholds your income tax.
Yes, I know that.
Thank you for confirming that, Christian. All right. If ANC or the government in this case, it was the government who withheld income tax taxes from Senator Marcos made a mistake, sino sisisihin mo? Ikaw? Of course not. Oh. So that is not tax evasion. Let me be very clear with you. Section 45 of the tax code is about failure to file income tax return, Christian. Ganun yun. Oh. Ngayon, itong si Justice Carpio, he is making a mountain out of a molehill. Sapagkat, alam mo yan, Christian,
Teka
yung
lang.
failure to file income tax, decriminalize na yan eh. Decriminalize na yan. Oh.
When was it decriminalized?
Nanood ka ba nung impeachment? Nung impeachment, meron silang tinatawag na alpalis eh. Yung mga justices, hindi na nagbabayad, hindi na nagpapile ng income tax return yan eh.
But did it
I do
mean
not know when. But you know, the principle here, if there is a beneficial thing in criminal law for the accused, it retroacts eh, Christian eh. It is beneficial.
Where does it say regarding violations of the tax code, for instance?
I do not. What is your question again?
Where does it say in the tax code? For example, decriminalize. Kasi Justice Carpio mentioned section 253C of the tax code, which says that any public officer who is convicted of any crime penalized under the tax code is perpetually disqualified from holding public office, to vote and to participate in any election. Wasn't Bongbong Marcos convicted, not just of the election code, but of the, let's not even talk about moral turpitude. Convicted because under the tax code. Wasn't he convicted?
Oh, you are now changing your statement. Diba? Tama yun. He was convicted of failure to file his income tax return.
No.
He was never convicted of tax evasion, Christian. Dapat klaro tayo sa facts natin eh. Di ba? Mahirap kasi yung fake news eh. O ngayon, sasabihin ko sa iyo kung bakit mali si Justice Carpio. Yan decision na parati mong binabasa dyan sa tabi mo. Ang penalty lang dyan, Christian, fine eh. Ano ngayon ang gusto ni Justice Carpio? Ang gusto ni Justice Carpio, kung binasa mo yung column niya, at binasa mo itong mga tao na naniniwala sa kanya, gusto niya yung desisyon, lalagyan niya sa kanan ng imprisonment. Dito sa kaliwa, lalagyan niya ng perpetual disqualification. Why? Kasi sabi niya, ako lang ang marunong, ito ang tamang desisyon. So nagpunta sila sa COMELEC, Christian. So what will the COMELEC have to do if they will follow Carpio? They have to annul that decision that you are looking at. Now,
but can you
answer, let me finish because the point is here.
Oh, sige, go ahead.
Do you know, Christian, Carpio knows that the COMELEC has no jurisdiction to annul any decision of the Court of Appeals. So
was that part of the prayer? Were the petitioners even asking the COMELEC to annul the decision of the Court of Appeals?
Yes, that is, you cannot disqualify.
They're asking him to deny due course.
You cannot disqualify Marcos without going into that legal theory of Carpio.
Actually, let me correct you on that.
That the Court of Appeals decision is wrong. Ibig ba sabihin ni Justice Carpio, siya lang ang marunong gumawa ng desisyon?
Okay, since we're talking about facts here, let me correct you on that. The petitioners are not seeking the disqualification of Bongbong Marcos. They're asking the COMELEC to cancel the COC. Deny it due course. There's a difference between the two.
No,
okay.
No, you know, Christian. They went to the COMELEC only to throw mud at Senator Marcos. Di ba? Kasi wala naman silang basihan eh. Ang batas, Christian, Section 12. Have you read Section 12 of the Election Code? There are only two ways that you will be disqualified. One, if you are sentenced with more than 18 years imprisonment. And two, if you are convicted of a crime involving moral turpitude.
Yeah.
So, ngayon, Doon sila pumunta sa Section 78. Yun, nagsisinungaling ka sa COC mo. Di ba?
Yeah.
Oh. Doon mismo sa desisyon ni Carpio, yung mga remedies na yan, individual sila, dinodoble nila But that is lawyerly talk. Baka hindi maintindihan yan Aanuhin ko na lang yung Section 78. Sasabihin ko sa iyo kung bakit pati si Justice Carpio isasagot niya sa question 22 no din
Okay, go ahead because I have another question for you.
Dito niya kinuwento sa programa mo ito ni Justice Carpio, if you remember.
Yeah,
Sabi niya, nalaman niya itong kaso na ito, itong tax case after October 8. Tapos na yung filing. In-answer na ni Senator Marcos yung no. Di ba? Kung nag-file si Carpio nung candidacy, kunwari tumakbo siya na presidente, isasagot din niya no. O kaya kung siya yung nag-file para kay Bongbong Marcos, isasagot din niya no. Bakit, Christian? Inamin niya sa programa mo nalaman lang daw niya yung kaso na yan after October 8, nung mga October 15 na. Nagsaliksik siya and then nag-file sila ng kaso November 2.
So what is that? Is that even material to the issue?
Yes, because his story was only formulated on October 15. Before October 15, he had no theory. Alam mo ba, Christian, na yung petition na yan yung binabasa mong decision na yan hindi naka-attach? Do you know that?
But does the timing even invalidate the points raised?
Yan, ang petition, dapat may ebidensya ka Yun yung petition nila Carpio, argumento lang They have no evidence. They don't even attach a certified copy of the decision, Christian. Do you know that?
Well, that you can raise before the COMELEC or the lawyers of Bongbong Marcos.
Of course. Now, at least you know now, di ba?
May I ask my basic question now, attorney?
Okay.
A very basic question. Was Bongbong Marcos convicted or not of any crime under the tax code?
He was convicted of failure to file his income tax return.
Okay.
Now, yung mga dilawan, they are saying he was convicted of tax evasion.
Tax evasion. Okay, tanggalin natin yung issue.
Mali yun, Christian.
Let's remove the issue of tax evasion for purposes of discussion.
Fake news yun
Okay. Let's not even talk about tax evasion. Pag-usapan natin yung conviction under the tax code. Okay? Does it not say also in the tax code that a public officer convicted of any crime punishable by the tax code will also be meted the penalty of perpetual disqualification?
Unang-una hindi na siya public officer noong 1986, Christian Nung nangyari yan, April 15, di ba? 1986, dapat ipapile yan. Kasi yung presidential decree na yan, nag-retroact lang yan, Christian, hanggang 1986 lamang.
Yeah.
Noong 1986 na yon, when supposedly he committed the crime, he is no longer a public officer. Second, marami ako sagot yan Baka uulan ang sagot ko diyan sa mga argumento mo na yan
Sige, go ahead. This is not my argument. I'm just relaying to the argument of
we can discuss, we can discuss all night Pakikita ko sa iyo talaga na mali ito Di ba?
Go ahead.
Second, itong disqualification, dapat yan nakasulat yan sa desisyon na binabasa mo, Christian Yan ang batas Tanong ko sa iyo, nakasulat ba yan dyan sa binabasa mo, yung disqualification? Hindi. Ngayon, ano ang sinasabi nila? Deemed written doon sa petition nila. Sino ang binola nila? Ibig mo sabihin, itong tatlong justice na iginagalang namin si Christian sa Court of Appeals, si Gloria Paras. Ginagalang namin yung Christian Kaming mga abogado na UP, College of Law. Ito yung si Lourdes Tayaw Haguros. Ginagalang namin ito
Why can't we just focus?
Itong si Oswaldo Agkawili. Tatlo to Christian
Yeah.
Itong si Carpio, isa lang itong nagsasalita na justice
Okay.
Ito tatlo ito. Si Justice Oswaldo Agkawili, Yung isang poste sa OSG, Christian, sa kanya eh. Magaling
Okay.
ito. Anong
Yes,
ibig
yes.
niya sabihin? Di marurunong ito?
But is that even a legal argument? The
Of
fact that
course.
these 3 justices are good?
That is a factual argument.
What makes that a factual argument? Does it
Yes,
have any
because,
direct relation to the case?
You know, no justice will impose the penalty that Justice Carpio is asking.
So that is an argument that you can raise before the COMELEC.
Kasi alam mo, Christian, you know what the alleged crime is? It is just like a jaywalking eh. It is just
What?
like a traffic violation. He
Failing to
is
file
making
income
mountain
taxes
out
like a
of molehill.
Wait,
Oh
attorney.
yes, kasi alam mo ang problema sa iyo, carried away ka na eh.
No, I'm
Di
not
ba?
carried away. I'm just asking the questions that need to be asked.
You know, as I said, you know who was the president when these people made this judgment of a fine? President Fidel Ramos, the ally of Cory Aquino.
So again,
When he
what
was
does it have to do with the
convicted by-
decision of the Court of Appeals?
When he was convicted, because this is persecution Christian eh. When he was convicted by the RTC, by Benny Ulep, the president was Ramos. When he was charged, the president was Cory Aquino. Did you know that?
I think I know that. Definitely. Well, anyway, we don't have much time anymore, but I wish we focus on the issues. We don't need to talk about the character of certain people. But thank you very much, Attorney George Briones, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Christian.
We're taking a short break. After the fact, we'll be right back.